Hi everyone, welcome to episode 5 of the Timberborn series on Update 6 Hard Mode. Today, what have I got in store? Well, a few things. The main goal that I want to have done by the end of the episode is to green up this area along the top here. And to facilitate that, I'm also going to do a little bit of work over here with the reservoir and the sluice gates and that sort of thing. So with that said, let's get into the episode. So, as I alluded to in previous episodes, we're going to be using some explosives to get this work done. So, we have the explosive factory up and running here, which will take 5 bad water and convert that with a bit of time and power to 1 explosives. And we do have a few saved up down in here. There's 10 explosives in there, but we're going to need more than that to finish the plan that I've got in mind. So we're going to need more bad water, which at the moment we only have 30 of, which means we can make another 6 explosives. So I've actually got to wait until the drought is over, so then some of the bad water can come through and some more can get pumped up. But to help for future plan sort of thing, I'm going to put in a medium tank, which we have most of the resources. We've got the gears, but we'll be waiting on the planks for a little bit. But I'll set that to bad water so it can store a bit more so the supply chain doesn't get as disrupted when when the bad water isn't there. So how am I actually going to use the explosives? Well, there's a couple ways that we could get the water up into here. One of the easy ways to do it is with the water tab here. You can get this fluid pump, which I'm not going to unlock, but it's just a little building that sits like that. And what it means is the beavers will pump up water using these ones. They'll then carry the water up the paths into the building and then release the water that way. Now it does work, but it is pretty slow to fill up an area and it does take quite a lot of your water to do so. So I don't really want to do that. But if we look at the levels of this area, we see that's pretty flat. There's a bridge here and then it's flat across here. So what the plan is to build up the reservoir a little bit more, and then I can use the TNT along here, so then we have a path for the water to come in. So to start facilitating that, I'm going to need to clear a few of the trees. We do look like we're pretty good on logs at the moment, and I don't think I'll need to take out very many, probably just maybe this one here. So I'm probably just going to mark those for demolition like that, and add a few paths in to make sure the builders can get to it. Something like that. And then what we can do is, well, first of all, unlock the dynamite. And then drag a line across here. So this is the path that the water will then flow through. So I'm also going to try and keep this one in place here. What are they called? The natural overhangs, because I can't build them otherwise. But I want to use that as the channel that will bring water across here. So we do need to add some walls on it. I think for now I will keep these blockages, because again you can't recreate those and it's a little bit of history on the map. So we're just going to add some levees across the side here that will then hold the water in. And add a path across the top. And then that can also link up to a path on here. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to run the water across here, probably just another channel. But I do have some other ideas for this area which I'm going to need even more TNT for. But I will let the builders go for a bit, see where they get up to, and I'll bring you back in when there's something more to show. Okay, so the builders have gone for a little bit longer, but as you can see we've used up all of the explosives and as much bad water as we can. There's only one left, but that's not enough to make another one. And it got them all the way up to there, which is pretty good. And then, as you can see, they've started building up this one. Now, I still don't know exactly how I want to do this, but we can start prepping the area for it. So we're going to need to get some stairs going up to the top along here. So I'll just pop a couple paths in. And I think I'm just going to get them to take out all these ones, just to get them to clean it up a little bit. And while I'm at it, they can do those ones. I mean, it's really easy. You can just use a path and it'll clear it out. But I'm a bit lazy like that, so I'm going to let them keep working that way. And the other thing that I know that I'm going to need to do is to raise the level of the reservoir a bit. So for that one, it's pretty easy. Just want to carefully grab the top piece there. And I'm going to take out all of those. And then start building with levee pieces along the top to raise it. And if I do it in this order, then they shouldn't get themselves trapped. I mean, they are beavers, so they probably will, but doing it this way, that should be okay. And that will raise the height of this up enough so that then the water can flow along that way. And I will wait a little bit to... Actually, I don't need to. I was going to wait to rip out these pieces, but we are in the middle of a drought, so it should be okay. We do have quite a few logs around, so they should be able to build that pretty quickly. And we'll just pop on the levees and the dam pieces again. And yes, I know I've rebuilt those pieces so many times, but that's alright, we keep bumping the size of the dam up. So that's good, they've already done that part there. And I think I will just low prioritize these ones for now, as I want them working on these bits. And if we watch how they build it now, they should go do those first actually, and then the end ones. And I've just thought if I don't pause these, water will flow out everywhere like the last time, so I won't get them to build them just yet until I've done the rest of this side. So I'll leave that for a little bit, and I'm probably going to need to move these sluice gates around, but I'll wait until I've got a little bit more TNT up so I can do the plan that I have up around here. So I'll let them keep building up along that bit, and then I'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay, so I'm just bringing you back in now at the end of the dry season, so now we're back into the wet season. So, as you can see, both water sources have started going again, which means I can turn back on the explosives factory, and that means we can get some more explosives, which will help deal with the rest of this. So, I'm thinking about blowing this one, but I think I'll wait until we get this side done as well. So they have finished clearing out the top here. So I think the plan that I want to go with is to have the sluice gates up pretty close. So then I can have, if it's good water, it comes out this side. If it's not, it just gets kicked off the map straight away. So that we can do that, I'm going to need to put some TNT out. And I think I'll do it like this. That should be good. And then I want to TNT those blocks out so that then if there's any bad water, when the bad tide starts, it just gets kicked straight off, and then only good water will flow on from here, which means I can clean up this side around here a bit more as well. So I'll let them get on with making some more explosives and that sort of thing, and then I'll bring you back in once I can blow this stuff up a little bit more. And it's actually good, we can see now that the explosives are all in. So the first dynamite for the series, here we go. I'm going to slow it down to 1. Yeah, there's a bit more, which is cool. But now we have the problem, how are we going to reach across this gap here? Well, if we unlock the suspension bridge, which I do have enough science for, we can turn it around there, and that now we can touch anything underneath there, so we can fill in the extra explosives, even go across there. Get rid of these extra paths as I go, and then I can keep filling in the dynamite along there. So this is where I want to put in the sluice gates along here so that the bad water can be kicked off that side. Sorry about that. And we'll see how that works in, I guess, not too much time, because I think it'll probably be during the bad tide that I actually get this system up and running. Okay, so we are in the bad tide now, and it was only about 11 or 12 day bad tide, which is good. We're not too long without water. But I just wanted to show you how the TNT gets built here. So as you can see, he's building off the side of the bridge to then place the dynamite down on there. And if I can get another one to come along, you might be able to see how the rest of them works. You should do the one underneath. So as you can see, they can build through that one. And this should actually be the final pieces of TNT that I need for this side, because this is the level that I'm going to have it all at. So I can have the gates that'll go if it's bad water this side, if it's good water out this side. And then I can clean up this area here, or even expand the reservoir back in that way. And then I've got a better idea with how I want to run the water across here. So, I thought they might have finished the dynamiting up here, but they haven't quite. So there is 4 builders. I might set this to a high priority, so then they should all grab some explosives and get this area built up. And then I can finally blow out that little piece just there. Like that. Boom, 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 boom. And then we can put some sluice gates on the top there. So I can rotate it that way. And I've done it this way because you can't put the sluice gates on the edge since the little triangles stick out on that side. So I actually have to set it back by 1. So I'm going to do a similar thing on this one. I think it's actually closed below the contamination. So I might set that to like 1%. So if it's any good water, it'll be forced across, but any bad water will get shot out that side. You probably could do it the same as I had here, but this way seems like a little bit more of the correct way to do it, sort of thing. And then for this side, I might try and build it up across just here. So to do that, I can put levees across there. That should do. Yes, it does. That all lines up nicely. And I'll add another levee here and then the sluice gates across here as well. So if I do 1, 2, 3, and then have these at the same close above contamination. 0, I did set these to 0. So then all these gates should be set the same. So they should be able to build this out going across, and they've done that side, which is nice. So then once they build this side up, then all the bad water will be forced off the map that way instead of carrying on straight. Which then I can change how this area works. I could expand the reservoir a little bit across there. And then I can plan exactly how I want the water to come across here. So I think I will have it coming straight across for the most part. So I can bring that up across like that. And I kind of want the water to go in the stream before it goes into the reservoir so that this area can be filled up before the reservoir is. So I might actually need to move that path slightly so that I can have a little channel somewhere along here maybe. I will work that out off camera and then I'll bring you back in when I've figured out exactly how I want to do it. Okay, so I have figured out how I want to do this now, and the beavers have also finished up this side. So as you can see, all the bad water just gets kicked off the map straight away. This will stay here for a little bit, but in the next wet season, the water will pour through here, flush out this stuff as much as it can, and then the good water will go back in as it had been normally. But I will need to leave that for a little bit until I get this side built up. But I figured out how I wanted to do the path along here. So if I run the explosives along there and then bring it up here, I will move these stairs. I don't need these anymore. We can have a channel of water going across this way. And then what I want to do is put levees across here and then dam pieces across the top. So it should mean that any water that comes in will first try and fill that channel, which will go all the way across into here. And then once that's kind of full, then it'll tip out from here and go in and across there. Which eventually I'm probably going to just bring the dam the whole way across there, and then the overflow will come out that side instead. But I want to let these guys finish this and get this one done, And then when it's back to the wet season, then we can blow all of this dynamite at once, and then you can see the water flow in and green up this area along here. So I'll let them finish building up this piece, and while I'm at it, I may as well actually do this part of the reservoir as well, expand that up a little bit, but I'll bring you back in during the wet season. Okay, so here we are. It'll be the start of the wet season coming up just now. So as you can see, pretty quickly the system switches over, and then it'll flush out all the bad water along here, and this side's nearly done. And then there we go, the bad water's been pushed out and good water is flowing back into the reservoir. And now that it's doing that, actually I'll just let them finish this a little bit so I don't accidentally blow up any of the beavers. I did start working on putting the pieces in down here. That's flowing up really quickly now. I will pop in the levees going across there, so that'll help expand the reservoir a little bit. But the moment I know I've been waiting for a little bit, I can start blowing up this dynamite. So if I set that off, I might set it to 2 speed. All the water flowing through across there. And as we can see, the blockages do hold the water there. And I will actually need someone to demolish that little slope there. But I will take out this bit of dynamite as well. Oh, it actually, I didn't realize that it flows through. I'm going to cancel that demolish then, so we can leave that piece in place. Anyway, as we can see, the water will then flow through to here and start filling up this bit. So it is filling up the reservoir first, which that is actually as full as it can be on that side. I didn't realize that's how the physics worked on it. It's interesting, this side's higher than it is on this side. But then the builders can come along here and start building these pieces, and then the reservoir can fill up even further, and then the extra power can flow out the bottom as it has been before. But as we can see, all the top here is now nicely greened up. There's still a little bit more water to flow through, but now we can start using that area for different bits of farming or whatever I really want to use it for. It has actually flowed up a little bit more than I wanted it to. That's interesting. It floods up just a tiny bit, but it should start to flow back through that way. And then it subsides. So maybe I should leave a path around the lip of it so stuff doesn't get destroyed while it's going. But as we can see, the system is working as I intended it to, in that the water gets filtered through here, and then it will fill up this channel first before it then flows into the reservoir. So now I can probably start doing a little bit of work up here. And the first one that I'll do is to start demolishing some of the stuff just around the lip of the, I don't know what we call this, a little lake. So then I can run a path around the whole way. Just like that. Come on guys, get the last little bit. There we go, and I can connect it with a path like that. So it may actually be a good spot to maybe move the trees and some farming up to the top here. So since we are doing really well on logs, I may just get them to demolish the area. Nah, that seems a bit wasteful. I'll set up a forester. I think this side might be a good spot for it. And I'll get them to plant up a whole bunch of oaks, and I might try and cut it in half-ish. Actually, I should put these paths in first. So I'll get them to do oaks, maybe like that kind of area, with the exception of these 2 spots, because I can put some lumberjack flags in there. And I will set this to replant dead trees so that they can keep getting, they can take care of these ones that are in there. But I will also put some lumberjack flags in. But I will set this to the lowest priority there, as we do still have the area down here. And then I guess I can set the whole area up here for tree cutting area. And I'll get the builders to take out the rest of those, because this is where I'm going to put in some more farming area. And we can also join up the paths, another bad tide approaching, along here so that we can walk the whole way around the area, and the farmer should then be able to access in across here. But that looks pretty good for now. And that reservoir is now full, which is really good news. Got a little bit extra water storage up the top. But the other thing I can do is now I can take out these pieces along there, because we're not going to need them anymore, because any water that gets past this point will be filtered out. It'll only be the good water. So we can take those out, and just to make sure, I think I will put in some levees across the top. So if there's any water that does spill out, it goes out off the map instead of in that area. And I forgot to add the stairs back in here, so that then the builders can get back up in here. And I will set that to a slightly higher priority, even though it's as a backup, I do want that done prior to anything else. So I will let them continue on with everything that they want to do, and I'll bring you back in when there's a little bit more to show. Okay, so we're coming back into the wet season now. Oh, not the wet season, sorry, the bad tide started. And as we can see, this is kicked back in perfectly how I wanted it to. Good water stays in here, bad water kicked off the side. So I did add in this little wooden stairs on here so that they could then get down and build these levees across the top here. So then that protects the rest of the water system nicely. These guys have been planting up the trees along here and getting that all going. I am still getting these beaver unwell messages, because I think when the bad tide comes through here and then the good water comes through, because of the dam pieces that I've put in here, it pushes water over the banks, and then the beavers that are in those buildings get unwell. So I might need to rethink how I'm doing the power system down here, but I can do that in a little bit. One of the things that I also wanted to do is to expand the reservoir a little bit, which it's more than enough for what we've got for now, but I want to keep ahead of what we're going to need. And it also is a good way to show off the new tool the devs have put in the game recently, which is this one here, the construction guidelines. So with, is it Shift and X, you can toggle it, or if you hold X, it'll stay on. So now I'm just holding X, and you can see where things line up. So what I want to do is line up the building with the top of the reservoir here, and then go along to, I think probably about there is where I want to have it. So I'm going to need to rip out these berry bushes along here and then start building out the walls. So to do that, same as usual, get the builders to take out these, and I may as well get them to take out the rest of the berries there, since I'm not going to be using them. So you can delete out all of that, and then I can start putting in the walls that go along this way. So if I hold down X again, I can see exactly where I need to build out to, which is there. So I might just put that down to start with, and then I can start building the walls. But I got to be a little bit careful. I think I will leave this wall in for now, just so we can segment the dam and reduce evaporation. Not that it's a huge issue for us at the moment, but eventually it is something that you want to keep in mind. So I might just start building up this part like this. Lots of clicking later. And I might just pause this one along here, because I kind of want them to take out these parts, so then I can start building up the rest of the reservoir. And I think I've actually put that one over. I have, there you go. Even using the tool, I get it the wrong way around. So let's take out those pieces, and I want them to start taking out the berries along here because that will be more useful for me. So I'll high prioritize those. So the builder's hut is how you can get access to more builders, because you get 4 to start with the district center. But if you want more than that, you need extra buildings. So that's what these builders huts are for. It's only 100 science, and I've got plenty at the moment, so I don't mind spending it. And I think for now, I don't know, I kind of want it somewhere central. Sure, that'll do. And I'll set that as a higher priority construction site and maybe a lower priority workplace, just for the time being. And that'll get us a few more builders so we can keep building stuff along here. And I've just seen this little blueberry seedling has started up when I'm just clearing out the area. So I'm going to need to clear that out again. But I can start laying in the levees along here. So I might just start with these 4. So I don't cut off the path access for them. Yes, so they can still reach all of that area. So if they could come do these ones, that would be great. I'll let them keep clearing out this area and I'll put in a few more bits and pieces, and then I'll bring you back in when there's a bit more to show. Okay, so a bit of time has passed now. As you can see, we're nearly into the next wet season, but the beavers have done a lot of work. So we've got that builder's hut up and running. Not that anyone is in it at the moment. I have a few injured beavers, possibly from the explosives factory. So I might turn that off for the time being. And I did also start up the herbalist for a bit to refill both those tanks. And the bad tide has ended. So there we can see all the water rush back in. I did also add a sluice gate here just so that water can only go that way. Since this water channel here is only 1 wide, evaporation happens a lot quicker. So I don't want this whole area to dry out like it did here, otherwise the edges get dried up. But if I do this, then it should help with that evaporation, and should only be a smaller area gets evaporated, which would be a little bit better. But as you can see, they've started building the next part of the reservoir here, which I've just paused the end pieces so that they don't build up the whole way. But this is what it will look like. So I've kept the sluice at the bottom with the same downstream depth along here. And then I've got the dam pieces along the top. So water will fill up that reservoir first, and then the overflow will spill into this one, but it'll still keep the same level throughout the old river that was there. And then once that one's full, then it'll spill out over the front here. So we haven't quite doubled the area of the reservoir that we had, but that's quite an increase. And as you can see, I've also added the suspension bridge just on here, as that helps them to build multiple pieces at once, so they can build it a little bit faster. But we are getting on time with the episode, so I will end it here. But as you can see, we've accomplished a lot. We've got this area green up the top. The next episode, I will probably be putting some farms or something more interesting up in here. And then if you want to see what this next part of the reservoir looks like when it's built, you'll have to come back then. But thank you again for watching the episode. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, share it with people if you think they might enjoy it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.